Welcome back to our second video in making a zombie apocalypse shooter. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a pistol and make all the sound effects and bullets for it as well. So, without further ado, let's get started.
These videos and tutorials are mostly small sections taken out of our entire course. At Griffin Learning, we make awesome games in Python, such as Tetris, Space Invaders, Snake. And we make games in Roblox, like FPS shooters, horror, action-adventure, and more. We don't just tell you what to do, we teach you everything you need to know so that you can create your own unique games. If you're interested, please visit Griffin Learning to find out more.
The first thing you want to do is you want to add in to the shoot tip, you want to add in a sound, and you want to add in a point light. Okay, and the next thing you want to do is for the sound, you want to rename this. I'll rename it to shoot sound. And the point light, I'll rename that to the shoot light. And this is the light that's going to pop off every single time we shoot the pistol. So then we also want to, for the shoot sound, we're going to have to choose in a sound. In this case, I will use a sound that I found. It's going to be called Magnum Fire. I will put all of these in the description, so you guys don't have to worry about that. So I'll use this, and all I have to do is copy the link and just paste it right into Sound ID, just like that. And that should work for that. Then all I want to do now is for the shoot light, I want to choose a light for it. I'm going to use a yellow light, just like a gun. I'll use this one, but you guys can customize this however you guys like. Okay. The next two things we want to do is we want to add in a remote event. And remote events are going to occur every single time our client is calling to the server. And I'll explain that further as we continue. We also want to add in a local script and a normal script for our server. Okay, let's rename the local script. Let's rename that to shoot detect pistol. And let's rename the normal script for the server. Let's rename it to pistol. And basically, how it works is that the client will call onto the server every single time. And what the client's going to be using is that we need the client to detect the mouse position. And then we're going to send that to the server so that we can actually create our bullets and shoot the bullets in our game. Okay, so now we can rename the remote event. Let's rename it to shoot pistol, just like that. And I think we are ready to begin. So we can go and open up the shoot detect pistol. This is going to be our local script for the client-sided script. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually call onto the tool. So local tool equals script.parent. Local mouse equals game.players.local player get mouse. So every time our mouse clicks, we want to detect that and put it into a variable. We then want to also make a equipped variable and a cooldown variable. Okay, then I'm going to create two functions. And we're going to check whether the weapon's equipped or not, so we know when to fire our pistol. So we're going to check if the weapon is equipped. We're going to tool.equipped connect function, and equipped is equal to true. And we do the same thing. We're going to check if the weapon is not equipped. So tool.unequipped connect function, and then we want to set equipped equals to false, just like that. Okay, now we want to detect every single time our player clicks his mouse button. So to do that, we want to say mouse.button1 connect function. Enter. Then we're going to test, okay, if we have the weapon equipped, then we want to set a cooldown. So we're going to do if cooldown is equal to false, then cooldown is equal to true, script.parent wait for child, shoot pistol, fire server, mouse.hit, this is the C frame position, workspace.current camera dot C frame dot position, comma, and then we want to also call on, we're also going to pass in a variable. We're going to say if we are actually firing or not. So I'm going to pass in a boolean true. Okay, the next thing we want to do is then if we have, after we're done holding down our button or clicking our button, we're going to call button one up, connect function. So we're going to say script.parent, and we can just copy the same line we did for the button one down. Let's copy that and put it right here. And we're going to change the true to false so that it means that we're not firing, and we're going to detect that in our server script. Before a client-side script, this should work, and it's going to detect every single time our player clicks the down button on his mouse. We're going to grab the C frame position of our character and his current camera position, and we're going to pass through a variable. And before we continue, we should probably just test these functions out to make sure we have everything correct. So inside button one down right here, we can hit enter and we can do something like print pressing mouse down. And inside our button one up, we can do instead print not pressing button. So now if you did everything correctly, we can test this out really quickly. Click and play here. So it says print hello world. This is from our other server script. We just didn't delete that line. But if we pick up our pistol, and if I click my mouse button, I'm clicking, it should say pressing mouse down, and if I let go, it should say not pressing down, or not pressing button. So if you did everything correctly, you should have the same just like me. If I press it down, it says pressing mouse down, and if I let go, it says not pressing button. And one more thing, we should probably disable the point light and maybe cast a shadow. So let's do that really quickly. In our shoot light, we can disable it and we can enable shadows, just like that. Okay, so we can go back and we can remove these print statements. And guys, I will have a more in-depth explanation how all of this works near the end of our video if you guys are interested. But for now, for a brief overview, we're just going to send events to the server when we press our mouse button one down, and when we let go of our mouse, we're going to send another event. Okay, so now we can move over to our server script for our pistol, and we can start working on that. So the first thing you guys want to do is you want to remove the print hello world, and we can now type local tool equals script.parent. We're going to grab the tool one more time, and we also want to grab the actual remote event. So we're going to do tool, wait for child, shoot tip. We're going to wait for the part right here, and we also want to wait for the event. So tool, wait for child, shoot pistol, just like what I wrote over here. Okay. Then I want to call debris. This is where we're going to delete our bullets from the game after we're done shooting. So debris, just like that. Okay, now we actually want to retrieve the remote event fired from local script when player fires pistol. So we can do, so we want to call on the shoot pistol event. So basically shoot pistol dot on server event connect function player mouse position camera position and firing. This is the boolean variable we created, and we want to hit enter so we can create our function. Okay, now we want to keep writing. We can call local player equals game dot players get player from character tool dot parent. Okay, and before we continue, I actually forgot to write a couple lines in our previous script, in our local script. So let's go ahead back here, and on line 22, where I wrote script.parent wait for child shoot pistol, I want to hit enter after this, and I actually want to make our cooldown. So for testing purposes, I'll make our cooldown like 0.1 just for now, and make sure you set cooldown equal to false. So now this cooldown should make sense. So you can change this number however you want for when we actually want to fire our pistol. Now if we head back to our pistol server script, we can print player to test out to make sure that whenever our client is pressing his mouse button down, it's sending an event to the server. So let's go and click play here and test that out. So now if we grab our pistol, and if I hit my mouse button one down, it should say my name. If I let go, it should say my name just like that one more time. And that should be working correctly, and printing your name twice, just like that. Okay. And before we continue, we should also probably make our bullets, so we can do that really quick. So let's create a new part into our workspace, just like that. And we can scale this down to a very small size, just like that. Okay, just like that. And we can make sure that it's anchored and can collide is off, and we can rename this part to bullet. But you guys can give it any material and color and style, however you guys want for your bullet. Then we want to drag this and put it in our server storage. Okay. Now I think we are ready to continue. So let's head back to our server script and let's continue. So we want to actually go here and we want to remove print player. And now we want to be checking if firing is true and the player is valid. To do that, we can write if firing and player, then we want to actually grab the bullet from server storage. So just call a new variable called bullet and set it equal to game.serverStorage. Server storage, just like that. Wait for a child. And I'm going to call on bullet and I want to clone it. So write clone after that. Then we want to create a ray. And these rays basically connects the 2 points from the starting camera position and a certain distance away. So let's write local ray equals ray.new camera position, comma mouse position dot look vector times, and we're going to give it just a big number, something like 10,000. That should do. Okay, our next steps are we should probably return the things that the bullet hits, right? So let's do that. We're going to return a tuple storing the base part hit and the position where the bullet hits in coordinates. So let's write local part, comma position equals workspace, find part on ray with ignore list, parentheses, ray, comma, player, character, get descendants. Okay, then after this we want to say that if there's no position, then set to a far away distance from the point of clicking. So we can do if not position, then position is equal to mouse position dot look vector times, and I'll give it a really big number again, like 10,000, and let's end it. Okay, then we want to use the magnitude function, and what this does is this gets the length of the vector, so we can do local distance equals position minus shoot position dot magnitude. Okay, then we want to set the speed, so we're going to set the speed to 75 studs per second, and the way we do that is we just divide the distance by that number, so I'm going to do 75. So if you want your bullet or your gun to shoot faster, you can increase or decrease it to shoot slower. Then we want to get the position or the C-frame of the bullet, so do bullet.cframe equals C-frame.new shoot position dot position, comma mouse position dot position. Okay. And really quickly, I misspelled part right up here. Let's rename that to part, just like that. Okay. Then we also want to now start the tween info. So this is gonna actually move the bullet into the workspace. So let's do that. And service to shoot the bullet. So local tween info equals tween info dot new speed. I'm gonna give it the easing style linear, and I'm gonna give it the easing direction in and out, just so it's nice and smooth. Okay, then I'm gonna actually play the tween info. So we have to get the service. So get service, tween service, create, bullet, tween info, give it the position equal to our precision that we gave it, then tween play. And I meant to put a period here for linear. There we go. Okay, all that's left is that we have to attach it to the workspace. So let's attach it, attach bullet to the workspace. So let's do bullet dot parent equals workspace. Okay, then let's just insert the touch interest into the bullet. To do that, we just have to end the touched function. So function end, just like that. Okay, I think now we are ready to play some sound. So we're gonna play the sound effect. And the way we do that is we just call shoot position dot shoot sound play. Shoot position dot shoot light enabled equals true. And then you can do how long you want this to occur. I'm gonna give it a really fast light, so I'll do 0.1 right here. And then I'm gonna set it to false to turn it off. So every time we click, the light will play for 0.1 seconds. Okay, and then, so we're gonna use the debris service to actually remove the bullet after, I'll say 1 second. So this is basically the range of your bullets. If you wanna change this, the range of the bullet, you should change this number. So debris add item, bullet, 1 second. So you just have to change this number if you want your bullet to go farther or closer. Okay, then you want to, so when our bullet is traveling in the air, we actually only want it to connect with one person one time, and we don't want it to, basically the same bullet interacting and damaging the same player. So make sure that the hit again by the same bullet. So the same player doesn't get hit by the same bullet multiple times. So local touch equals brackets. And then we can start making the while loop. So while the bullet is still in the workspace. So basically we're gonna do while bullet dot parent is equal to workspace, do. We're gonna have to put the wait function right here, just so the game doesn't simultaneously break. And then we want to return a list of all the parts the bullet is touching. So let's do local touching equals bullet get touching parts. For I, so we want to iterate through this touching list. Do if not part is descendant of the player character, then local humanoid is equal to part find first child humanoid. And then after that, we want to actually check for the humanoid and check if it's not in the list. So we do if humanoid and not touched humanoid. Then we want to actually reduce the player. So reduce the player's health. So humanoid, take damage 30. Touched humanoids, add that human to the list just so he's not touched by the same bullet. And then let's destroy the bullet right after it comes into contact with the human. Okay, so this is reduce the player's health. And what this basically does is it's checking to make sure that it's a valid human that the bullet is connecting with, and it's not being touched by the same bullet. Okay, let's see. And I believe that should be it. So let's go test this out. So we can go into our workspace and we can, really quickly, if you guys, the sound is really loud, so you can change the sound right here by clicking shoot sound, and you can change the volume. I'm gonna change it to 0.1 because it is just sometimes very loud. Okay, let's hit play here. And we spawn in, and when I grab this pistol and I shoot, we do have an error right here. So we can fix that really quick. Let's click stop. And it says, is descendant of is not a valid member of part. Oh, sorry, I just misspelled descendant. Let's try that one more time. D-E-S, descendant. There we go. Okay, let's try this. So if we grab the bullet and we shoot, we still have an error. Let's see. If not part. Oh, I misspelled again with 2 S's. Let's try that one more time. And there we go. We have a working bullet. And it works. So right now it's actually not connecting with the human dummy. So we can try and see what's wrong with that. Let's click stop. Okay. And right here where I wrote on line 71, local humanoid equals part find first child humanoid, I meant to write part dot parent. And now that should actually find the part of the parent and then find the humanoid property of our player. So let's try that one more time and see if that can damage our dummy now. So pick up the gun and we shoot, and there we go. It actually damages the dummies and other players. And just like that. And so we have one more thing to finish. If you guys don't like how the bullet stays within the workspace by hitting something, we can just check and detect if the bullet has stopped traveling, then delete the bullet. So the next steps is to just do some customization to make it a little better. So let's try that. Let's go back to the pistol server script, and we're going to check if the bullet is traveling in the air, and basically we're going to first set a pass distance. So let's do, right above the while loop we wrote, let's do check the past position to see if the bullet is still moving. So local past equals bullet dot position. Then while we're in our while loop, we can just write after here inside a while loop, but after the for loop, we can write, we want to check to see if the bullet is still moving or not by comparing past position and current position. So let's do if past.magnitude equals bullet.position.magnitude, then bullet destroy. And make sure you write bullet. Then you just want to set the past position to the current position. So past equals bullet position. So whenever the bullet has actually stopped moving, we can actually delete the bullet right here, bullet destroy. So let's try that now. So if you did everything correctly, if you grab your pistol and you shoot it, and if it stops moving, it deletes it from the workspace. Just like that. So that's pretty much it. So you guys have created a fully functioning pistol with the light, the sound, and the gun and the bullets. Finally, to conclude this video, the local script communicates with the server by sending over important information like the location of the player and when the player clicks their mouse. The server then receives the remote event signal and fires the on-server event function. The 4 most important things you guys want to know is the cooldown we wrote in the local script, the speed, range, and damage we wrote in the server function script. All of these things you guys can change and edit to how you guys want it. So for example, I can edit the cooldown here, and if I change the cooldown to example for 2 seconds, I can try that out. And if I spam click my mouse, it won't keep firing until after 2 seconds has passed. Just like that. And that sums up this video. In our next video, I'm going to show you guys how to actually make an automatic weapon where all we have to do is hold down our mouse and we can shoot as many bullets as we'd like. My name is Zach, this is Griffin Learning, and I'll see you guys in the next video.